software technologies make them move inventory more efficiently in the reverse direction without disrupting the smooth flow of the supply chain. I hope you noticed how many times I mentioned inventory so far. Inventory control is the last of our 6 activities, and logistics managers are in charge of inventory throughout the entire supply chain. The goal is to have a proper balance between inventory cost and customer service. How well are your logistics activities integrated with your supply chain? For an answer, transportation is generally a pretty good place to start. Pick any product from your company. How well does your transportation system support the supply chain goal of on-time delivery to your customers? Insufficient information always invites danger. And in the logistics world, nothing could be more true. Let me give you an example. Let's say you normally buy 1 case of soft drinks per week. Your purchases are very steady, week in and week out, 1 case per week. Then you decide that you'll have a party next weekend. So this week, you buy 5 cases of soft drinks. The grocer sees a sudden spike in sales and is immediately worried about running out of product. So they place a rush order with the distributor for more cases of soft drink. The distributor sees this rush order come in and also worried about running out of stock, now increases its regular order with the soft drink company. The soft drink company schedules overtime as it rushes to meet this sudden surge in demand. Every member of this logistics system believes that customer demand for this product is increasing when this is simply one isolated event. After the party, you return to your 1 case per week schedule, and the supply chain is wondering what to do with all this inventory. They wonder what happened to the demand. This phenomenon is known as the bullwhip effect, because the further away you are from the customer, the more your information is distorted. An actual change in customer demand is like a flick of the wrist at the handle of a bullwhip, resulting in a huge movement at the end of the whip. In your logistics channel, that's where the manufacturer would be. And that huge movement at the end of the whip translates into making more products. In this case, products that are not really needed by the customer. How do we prevent the collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment, commonly known as CPFR?
Hello.
In
I
short,
haven't
you
worked out
make the
how
product
to
close to the
reply to
customer
texts on
and
this.
you source locally as much as you can. You avoid all those difficulties of international logistics.
Hi
And this
everyone.
gives you three additional advantages. First, by shortening your supply channels, you've reduced your transportation cost, and you've shortened your transportation time as well. A shorter supply chain also reduces uncertainty, like determining how long your ship will wait to be unloaded in Los Angeles, which results in increased reliability of on-time deliveries, which in turn allows you to better control your inventory and further reduce costs. The second, you're making a product that's suited for customers in that particular region, which allows you to focus your factories, warehouses, and transportation vehicles on fewer types of materials, components, and products. And sometimes your final product may be vastly different from one region to the next. Caterpillar learned
No,
this
I'm
years
not
ago.
crying.
The ground in Montana is much firmer and harder than the ground in Malaysia. The earth-moving equipment needed by these two customers is very different. It's not easy to manufacture different machines in one central factory, and it's very expensive to transport them to the customer. Third, regional supply chains help to build the economy
Oh,
of the
hello.
region, which is especially good for
Mr.
manufacturing
Study English.
companies. As the economy grows, new customers can be created for your products. This is especially true of household goods. Whirlpool Corporation is a great example here. Years ago, they
Robert Vera.
established a regional supply
Good day.
chain based in Shanghai, China, to make washers and dryers for customers in Japan and South Korea. As wages and household incomes rose in China, customers in China began to purchase appliances for their homes. An entire new market was created. As you can see, logistics is closely connected to your company's business strategy. A strong logistics capability helps to ensure continued growth by providing excellent service to happy repeat customers. A flexible logistics system allows the company to switch its emphasis as business conditions change. And a shift to regional supply chains is just one example of how today's logistical networks can be both strong and flexible. Change is inevitable. We all know this. And the company that reacts best to
It
changes in
is
customer requirements not only survives,
10
it
past 6.
thrives. As your company reacts to customer changes, your logistics system must also change. So you really
Hello.
want your logistics network to be three things at once: nimble,
Hello
responsive,
everyone.
and flexible. The fast fashion industry is a great example of being nimble. And the king in that industry is the Spanish company Zara. Fast fashion specializes in bringing new clothing styles to market very quickly. The problem is that it's very hard to predict what will and will not be popular with the customer. Zara is famous for keeping very low inventories in case the style does not catch on. But they can quickly replenish that inventory if the style does indeed become popular. By keeping some factory capacity in reserve, and by maintaining distribution centers with extra equipment and people, they can handle those peak demand periods. They deliver immediately, often in partially filled trucks, sometimes even using air transportation. All these extra costs are covered by making sales that would otherwise have been lost, and by avoiding the cost of having unwanted inventory. The logistics network at Zara is very nimble, and it's also very responsive, because it's not just customer preferences that can change. You also must respond to unexpected increases in customer demand for your product. Once the factory makes the additional products needed, it's the logistics network that fills those extra customer orders. To do this, you must have a very efficient distribution process, and you must somehow maintain additional transportation capabilities. Now, this doesn't mean you have to buy extra trucks and have them sit idle just in case you need them. Walmart maintains a fleet of trucks that can support their normal transportation needs, and they have contracts with commercial trucking firms to provide support as needed to meet any extra orders. Now, what do I mean by being flexible? Sometimes your entire customer base may change, not their preferences, not their For demand, but the customer itself. Take cell phones, for example. They began as a business instrument for doctors, lawyers, executives, and other key employees who needed to stay in touch. But as prices decreased and services improved, they quickly evolved into a personal device. The logistics system to distribute and deliver those products had to evolve also. Manufacturers originally filled relatively large orders directly to corporations. Later, they had to deliver to retail distribution centers and directly to the retail stores. Now, with so much business conducted on the internet, they also must deliver directly to the individual consumer at home. Your distribution and transportation systems must be adaptable to such changes in the market itself, as your customers and products evolve. To make that happen, more companies are appointing strategic positions, such as Chief Logistics Officer and Chief Transportation Officer. But no matter how big your company is, when logistics are closely aligned with the overall corporate strategy, your company has a better chance of being nimble,
Seems obvious,
responsive,
you know?
and
But
flexible.
for many,
What gets rewarded gets done. I'm sure you've heard that before. Reward someone for a behavior, and they will happily and efficiently do it over and over again. This is a pretty good principle for effective management. But I also think this is the #1 obstacle to integration within your logistics network and along your supply chain. Let me give you an example. If you link your transportation manager's compensation to the average transportation cost per unit, they'll be highly motivated to reach that incentive by shipping everything from the factory in full truckloads. But this may not be in the best interest of your company. They will end up forcing full truckloads of products into the warehouses and drive up inventory costs for holding unneeded finished goods. They also may hold products at the distribution center or warehouse until a truck is full, causing stockouts at the retailer and lost sales when customers buy someone else's product. In short, you're rewarding the wrong behavior. Local optimization. And as shown in this example, it can be a serious problem. Logistics managers must be rewarded for reducing overall supply chain costs, not just the cost for one area. A second obstacle to effective integration is lack of information sharing. Let's use a straightforward example of a sales promotion. When the retailer plans for a sale, they will of course order more product, so they have enough to meet projected demand for the sale. If they don't let the manufacturer know about the sales event, the manufacturer may believe actual demand has increased, especially if several stores put similar items on sale at the same time, like during a holiday weekend. If the manufacturer isn't informed, factories and suppliers alike will increase production and build inventory that isn't needed. Lack of information sharing leads to a lack of visibility into the actual supply chain activities. And this is the third obstacle to integration. If you can't see what is happening in all parts of your supply chain, it's difficult to effectively solve problems when they come up. Understanding the entire logistics system and order fulfillment process is key to managing your business as an integrated system. Your suppliers need to have that same understanding. The key to achieving effective coordination is to align goals and incentives for every member of your logistics network and your supply chain. Members are then rewarded, for instance, for reducing total supply chain costs. How's your reward system? Inventory management is always a good place to look. Do performance measurements motivate managers to reduce inventory levels? Or is inventory increasing as a result of what's getting rewarded? A detailed analysis here can lead to effective integration practices and excellent logistics systems. I once worked for a major electronics company in the computer chip industry. When I interviewed, I asked what their biggest problem was. You know, the kind of stuff that keeps managers up at night. They told me that they had difficulty delivering orders to their customers on the promised delivery date. Now, I want to emphasize that expression, promised delivery date. In many cases, the customer placed an order with a requested delivery date that we couldn't meet. So we negotiated for a later date, which means the customer is already disappointed. The customer agreed to a later date, sometimes months later, and we promised to deliver on that date. So the customer would then go back and reschedule their business plan to accommodate this new date. They were counting on us to deliver as promised, and we would consistently miss the date. As you'd
Hello.
expect, this ongoing
Does anyone
problem
know how I can
began to
reply
affect our
to
sales figures.
texts on
Customers who
live?
didn't want to wait placed orders with other companies. The lesson learned here is that good logistics is a competitive advantage. Your reputation for accurately filling orders, for on-time delivery, for efficient response to changes in customer demands, these are the things that build a strong logistics reputation and a strong company. Good logistics is all about product availability. Did the customer get what they ordered, and did they get it on time? This is really the primary output of your logistics network, and it's what builds your company's reputation. But a lot of things need to be done right to make that happen. Suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and transportation companies must all work together as one system to ensure on-time product delivery. That's what supply chain management is all about. And inventory is the most important consideration here. Now, you simply can't afford to maintain inventory levels that allow every product to always be available. It's just too expensive. So logistics managers try to maintain appropriate inventories based on the type of product. Here's an example. If customers are most likely to go to another company because you're out of stock, you will lose the sale and possibly additional sales later. The stockout cost here, lost sales, is pretty high. So in this case, you'd better keep a high level of inventory in stock. The
I
potential
would
for lost
say
revenue
the
means
best
it
way to
makes sense
start
to
a
spend the
business,
money to keep extra inventory. Demand also plays a key role.
don't look for a job. I say start your own business. You have to start your own business. If you're thinking of looking for a job, in my opinion, obviously, if you're starting from zero, then yeah, you have to start. You need money now. I say like you can't eat tomorrow. I say you have to go to you have to now go shop to shop and ask for people and do manual labor, whatever. But that's only for about a month or two. Then I say you jump into do and like the gentleman say the flip. Another thing to have noticed is you can also start being like a middle person, so you can seek you can find a business. So for example, I'm doing the rental business now, and I'm trying to source as in car canopy rentals, and I'm trying to source goods from China. And the people that I'm getting to, they could be middlemen. So even though they find a product for me, they probably add a little bit of markup for it, but they're only gonna get the money once I pay. I pay. So once you're a middle person, and I'm thinking of doing the same as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get customers, because I'm not sure, even though I'm doing it on a retail level, I'm not sure whether wholesale will work. So what I'm planning to do is seek in, get the customers, and then if they need it, then I'll source it. I'll ask it. So it's a long-winded way, but I would say to get a job, like the man said, do a flip or try and find demand of what people want. And I really, really hate giving generic answers, but it depends on how desperate you are, basically. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? I was learning about international logistics now. I'm in the UK, international logistics, so that's what I'm listening to in the background while freezing my head off. It's not as cold today, it's probably just zero.
In product inventory. If demand for an item is low, you may keep a lower level of inventory on hand just to maintain some minimal level of availability.
Where are you?
But if this product is very popular, you definitely want to keep high levels of inventory because many unsatisfied customers will result in a very high stockout cost indeed. The point here is that all products do not require the same level of inventory.
Okay.
And I hope you also see how important good.
There's someone from Egypt as well, someone from Belgium. Nice to meet you. Brussels, okay, I've been there before. I remember going all the way there for an interview. Went all the way down there, took the train, the tunnel one, went all the way down there. One of the hardest interviews ever. I had £200 left in my pocket, and I used it all to take a train, go all the way down there, and I didn't get it, and then came all the way back. But Brussels is nice anyway. I think Belgium says Antwerp shares it with Holland, right? Am I right? I remember that because I remember having ice cream when I got to Antwerp. I can remember something like that. Yeah. So took a train down there for the day and then came back. You been UK before? Even though my favorite ice cream now, it used to be it was a Häagen-Dazs. I don't know where that country is from, but that was nice. So what do you guys think? Getting a job or creating your own business? Yeah, whole Europe is expensive, but that's how they maintain Europe because it's created that way. Even though everything that's created, they try and justify it with the cost. So basically, if I create like a new school, we have to everyone has to chip in to kind of make sure that we pay for it, and that's how Europe is. And so that's why it's always got a higher GDP, I suppose, because there's no free stuff, and any surplus money gets put away for a rainy day. You think getting a job? I mean, boy, I've been doing the job thing all my life, so I wouldn't say getting one is. I wouldn't say not getting one, but all I would say is that you only have to get a job as a last minute. Getting a job is a last minute option. So when you're starving today, you get a job. Apart from that, you shouldn't look to get a job because you'll be getting a job all your life. And the thing about having a job also is you're always at the mercy of somebody. So if your boss wake up tomorrow and they didn't sleep well, they can fire you. So I would say, and this is giving me a good thing to kind of learn. How you doing, boss? I think to discuss business and stuff like that. I think when you do business, you're set up to make it. You're set up to become successful because all the taxes and all the government encourage people. For example, if you create a business, you can employ as many people as possible, right? When you start a business, the government will encourage you to employ thousands of people or how many people you want. And so therefore, it will incentivize you with the taxation. And because they want you to, if I create a business, say it will be Benin Limited, and I employ 1,000 people, the government gets a thousand people paying taxes. If I get a job, it's just one person. So the government or um, the higher people that's in government encourages people to kind of do their own limited company or sole trader or whatever as well. So I think people should look into that more as well. Having got a job, I don't think I would advise that on anybody. But as a fallback option, what do you guys think? Job or someone said a job? I would even go to school. I don't even think even going to school is worth it. From 8, I say start learning a trade, learning something.
Logistics is to good customer service. Building an excellent service reputation with your customers will differentiate your company and give you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. I hope this course has shown you that a successful company must be really good at logistics, and that logistics managers are an important part of this success, as they supervise key operations to ensure every customer's order is properly filled. Congratulations. You're well on your way to having a good understanding of logistics management. Now your job is to build on that foundation and become the logistics professional you want to be. If you'd like to learn more and go even deeper, I encourage you to join the Council of Supply Chain Professionals. Attend local chapter meetings and talk with other logistics folks about today's hot topics and issues. These local meetings always bring in experts to talk about current trends in logistics. And it's also a good network to have when you need to get some advice about a problem at work. The Council publishes an excellent magazine called Inbound Logistics. This magazine will also keep you informed of current topics and research. Another great site is Logistics Management. They offer a free subscription to their magazine and electronic newsletters. Definitely have a look at this. These resources can help you get started down the right path. See where you want to go from there. I hope to hear many stories about the great ways your company manages logistics. And I wish you much success in everything you do.
Job. My name's Dana Robinson. I'm an attorney, an entrepreneur, and an educator. I've spent 30 years running businesses of all sizes, and I've had as many side gigs as I have full-blown business ventures. If you're ready to start a business of your own, then let's go. A really interesting opportunity many people don't know about is what's called wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling real estate means you find someone with a property that they want to sell. You put it under contract, and then you sell your deal to an investor. To get started, you start looking for properties that are for sale by owner. If you find a good deal, you make an offer. If it's accepted, you can sell that deal to an investor. While you're keeping your eye out for properties, start networking with realtors and real estate investors in your area and collecting investor contacts. Then, when you have a great property under contract, you'll have a list of potential investors ready to take the deal and pay you a hefty cut for finding that deal in the first place. If you can't sell your contract to an investor, then you'll simply pull out of the deal before you pass the point where you'd lose your earnest money, and you move on to the next deal. The money from wholesaling can be fantastic, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 per deal. Some people do this full time, and only have to land one deal per month. If you're nervous about getting started with more knowledge, I'd recommend a coaching course or a system like the one Alex Martinez offers at Pro Wholesaler. One of the most overlooked businesses is the simple process of becoming a consultant. What many people don't realize is that they already have a skill they can use to start selling services by consulting to businesses and individuals with something that they already know really well. The basic idea is this: people pay you for knowledge, and you probably have some knowledge that others are willing to pay for. That might be an expertise from your day job, or it might be something that you've developed outside of work. In fact, taking what you do at work and building that into a business is often the easiest way to leave your job and have a low-risk business that's right under your nose. To get started, identify your superpower. What is it that you know that others might be willing to pay you for? Look for others who are already doing it and use that to gauge your value, describe your services, and set your price. You'll then start holding yourself out as a consultant with that expertise and charge hourly or charge a fixed monthly fee for a block of your time. It might be a really narrow niche, but there's still value. Take that skill that you gained in your day job and use that to get paid by companies to learn what you know. You can make anywhere from $500 to $10,000 per month as a consultant, and I've known people who do even better. I've got a great course on LinkedIn Learning called Employee to Entrepreneur. If you want to become a consultant, be sure you watch that course. Here's how to take action now. Make a list of your skills, and then go hunting for consultants who already do it. Look for ways to distinguish yourself, and then pick your niche, create your business cards, and get going. Get out to meetups and general business networking events to find new clients. Another great business idea for those of you who like to spend time on the web is to buy and flip domain names. If you've ever had a great idea for a business and checked if the website or domain name is available, you'll likely run into this type of business before. The one- and two-word domain names all seem to be held by companies that are waiting to sell the best domain names for thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But guess what? There are so many domain names that have been overlooked. If you can identify these, you can buy them cheap, hold them, and sell them later. Here's how to get started. Check out domain name tools like Namecheap or GoDaddy to find a cool domain name. I myself once purchased llcfile.com for $10. I listed it on an auction site called Afternic, and I sold it for $750. You can list your domain names on resale websites, but you can also post a simple web page that tells people that your domain name is for sale. The potential income from this is $50 to $500 a month. So if you're into this one, spend time that you would be scrolling through social media and instead do domain name searches. Grab a few good domain names and list them on Afternic or GoDaddy's secondary market and other websites too. I once had a law clerk that had a really cool side business. He would buy video games on Craigslist and then immediately turn around and sell them on eBay for double or even more. Here's the thing. Many people don't want to hassle with a national marketplace like eBay or Amazon, so they sell things cheaper on Craigslist or OfferUp. That means there's an opportunity to buy from one place and resell it on another for more. We call that arbitrage. To do this, you should probably focus on products that you know pretty well. That's because you don't want to overpay. Then set alerts to know when something in your market is for sale. Snap up the deal and then list it for more on eBay or in some cases even Amazon. You can also prowl garage sales and swap meets. You can make a few hundred to a few $1,000s with this business. Get out there and start bargain hunting, and remember, you want to find deals on what you know you can sell for more. Don't fall for buying things you like. Buy what your buyers will pay for, and you'll have a great little business that you can run on the side or even full time. Getting a real estate license might seem daunting, but it's actually easier than you might think. And you can use it for a side business doing referrals and never leave your job to become a full-time realtor. Here's what this looks like. Once you have a license, you can use your network of friends and family to let them know if they want to buy or sell a home. You'll help them find a hardworking agent. You're basically the intermediary to build trust between your people and a realtor. You then bring your person to a realtor who pays you up to 25% of their commission just for the referral. Here's how to do it. You'll spend a little money to enroll in an online course and get your agent's license. Next, find a small brokerage that'll let you hang your license with that agency. And then negotiate a deal with other agents to get a cut of any referral you bring. Finally, use your personal network to bring people to the agency. You don't need to work full time or make this a job. Of course, you could if you want to. You can make pretty good money as a referring agent, maybe $5,000 to $50,000 a year. Here's what you can do to get started. If you aren't already licensed, get enrolled in a course like the one offered by Allied, where I took my course and got licensed. Once you're licensed, then get in with an agency that lets you work your own hours and get to know other agents. Work out formal arrangements with the other agents and then start networking to let people know you can bring them the best agents to handle their listing or purchase.
Wow, Liberia. I haven't been there before.
I know
Fantastic.
more than few entrepreneurs who didn't have to start a business to become self-employed. They simply renegotiated with their bosses to move from employee to contractor. They turned the tables so that they could own their time and make more money with additional clients.
Yeah, I remember. I'm watching ideas for perfect side businesses. Ideas for perfect. So far, gone through wholesale, becoming a consultant. That's using your skills. So say if you do a job, say you're a carpenter, and all of a sudden now you can help people, advise people when they're doing the carpenter work. Flipping domains, that's in website names as well. Also, garage sale and putting them on eBay. Getting the real estate license as well. I don't know if it happens if from any country as well. Hello, Dr. Zeus. Yeah, real estate as well, licenses as well. I know some countries, like for example Ghana, for example, they it just carries on, but they still got the license. I think they've got GREPA or something like that. The name is the acronym is, but I don't know the full name. But yeah, so far that's what I'm listening to now. So we're talking about turn your job into a consultant.
It can be as simple as telling your boss you want to turn your job into a consulting gig. And you have to work out how much time you need to spend to deliver what you already do and charge a higher hourly rate or a fixed monthly rate that might be less than what you make. Then use your additional time to land new clients and make more money. I know of people who only made $30 an hour as employees, but bill $100 an hour as consultants. And in many cases, once you're a contractor, you can work remote, and that saves time on your commute and gives you greater efficiency to make more money with your time. Here are some steps you can take to get started. Research consultants in your space and hit up some of them for coffee. Ask questions and get a feel for the consulting business. Look at what others charge as consultants and then go talk to your boss. I'm going to give away one of my secret weapons here. I've made money for over a decade without having to work very hard at all. I created a website with free legal resources, and I make money from placing Google ads on that website. This is one of my most popular ways to generate passive income, and there's room for you at the table. You simply write about something in a niche and publish that content with a WordPress website. Pick something you know well and combine articles with lists of resources. Then people find that site when they search for information on that niche, and you get paid from running ads on the site. Here's how you do it. List your areas of expertise and search for content around that expertise. You might even look at narrow sub-niches within that niche. Find a great domain name that's descriptive of that information, like myfreelegalaid.com, and have someone build you a simple WordPress site. You can have that done on Fiverr or Upwork for a pretty low price. Write long articles about each subject in the niche. Once you have a few dozen long articles, you wait for Google to rank you. While you wait, work on learning how to make your site more elegant. Play with WordPress themes, and also sign up for Google's AdSense so that you can add advertisements to your websites, and learn how to optimize those ads to run on your site. Google has free tutorials when you sign up for AdSense. You can make anywhere from 50 bucks a month to thousands of dollars a month per website. One of my websites has months that exceed $3,000 and it doesn't take much work at all. Keep adding content while you watch the traffic grow and start running the ads using a simple set of code that you're going to get from Google. Many people don't realize that there are entire websites where you can buy an existing website that's already making money. You can buy a website and often make back your investment really quickly. And of course, with a little work, you can make it grow in the years ahead. Why would someone sell a website that already makes money? Well, they're often bored with it, or they've moved on to other things. In many cases, you can buy a website from a developer, even if they were a great programmer. You get the software and the web and the existing customers, and you can use your business skills to grow that over time. Sometimes you can pull off a sweet deal by finding a dilapidated old website that still has traffic and it functions. Buy it cheap and fix it up. This is like fixing up an old house and renting it for more. The best way to get started is to begin watching auctions on websites like Flippa. Take your time to watch what other sites sell for, so that when you see a good opportunity, you'll have seen enough deals to be assured you're jumping at the right
Are you
one.
guys here, by the way?
Buy a website and then use someone from Upwork or your own network to help improve it. Learn to push up your Google rank. Learn a bit of marketing. Watch the revenue grow. How much can you make? I've personally done this with a website that I paid $6,000 for, and it made about $1,000 a month for years. I know of a woman
I
who
didn't
bought
coach.
websites
Yeah.
for less than $30,000 each, made her money back in a year, and it became her full-time business, and she eventually hired her husband to work for the business. Take action by starting to watch deals on Flippa and look for online business listings on BizBuySell, BizBen, and other business listing websites. Spend a few months watching the auctions and keeping track of the ones that you thought would be interesting. When you're ready, pull the trigger.
Let's write this down. He said
My
Flipper.
business partner Nate has made some really good side money doing what he calls rank and rent domain names. The basic concept is that you register a cool domain name, build a simple website around a specific subject, and once the domain name starts showing up high in the Google search results, you rent the page to someone in that line of business. It's a great business idea that doesn't require any technical skill, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Here's how it's done. First, you're going to look for a local industry that interests you. Could be real estate, law, medicine, dental, construction, or home decor. Anything you want to spend time focusing on. Search for that industry plus a local geographic term, like the name of your city or county. For example, search for the words home decor San Diego. As you search, see who ranks on the first page of Google. You'll want to focus on the local businesses that are in that niche. Look at how their keywords are and how they describe their business on their website. Next, go to GoDaddy.com or any other domain name registrar. You want a domain name that ranks for those words, like San Diego Home Decorating Tips.com. Use the geographic term and the words that describe the content of your future website. Register that domain name. You can install WordPress. If that's not something you want to take the time to do, you can pay someone to do it on Fiverr or Upwork. You write a few pages of content about the subject and publish that website. Build 4 or 5 long-form articles of 2,000 words or more, all about home decorating in San Diego. Next, add more content. It'll take many months for your domain name to show up in the search results. And in the meantime, adding more content will help your site rank. You don't even have to do the writing yourself. Just go back to Fiverr and Upwork and find some writers that you can pay. Next, get articles on other sites that link back to your site using the same keywords that you want to rank for. You'll take some of those articles that you're writing or having written, and instead of posting them to your website, post them to other websites with a link back to you. Here's the play that many people don't see. In a year when your website would have risen in Google, when it hits page 1, you'll offer local businesses to put their name and phone number on the website and charge a monthly rental fee for that. If you've ranked for San Diego Home Decor, Austin Home Decor, Minneapolis Home Decor, and others, you'll have the potential to rent your websites to local businesses in multiple cities. Now, the potential income from this is around $200 to $1,000 a month per site. It's a bit of work, but you can definitely see that it's worth it if you're patient and you play the long game. So if you want a really cool business idea that can pay off for years, start now. Build several websites that start to rank in the coming years, and then you'll have several sites that you can rent out to local businesses. You'll be making money every month with almost no ongoing work at all. Businesses of all shapes and sizes are for sale in every city, and often there's a way to get involved for a commission. In many states, you don't have to have a license to broker a business. And even when there is, you might be able to simply get paid by a licensed broker for assisting in a deal. Here's the thing with business brokering. There are a lot of people who only want the big deals. That leaves a lot of opportunity for smaller businesses who may not have an easy way to find a hustler to help them find a buyer. Whether it's a local laundromat, a small restaurant, or a clothing store, some of these businesses may just close their doors and liquidate if they can't find a buyer. You can bring a solution, help the seller, and get a cut of the sale. There are many ways to find deals, including looking for a business listed on Craigslist and asking the owner if they'll sign an agreement to pay you a commission if you bring a buyer. You can also get out and network in the local business community to connect with business buyers and sellers. Your job is about doing what the seller can't. The seller is stressed out and probably working hard to keep the business going. There's your opportunity. Make it easy for them. Get their business listed on LoopNet and other business websites, and you set up the potential deals and help bring it across the finish line. You can make thousands of dollars per transaction in this business, and you can do it as a side venture or as your main gig. Take action, network, find business owners. Watch for signs that say a retail shop is liquidating and go talk to the owner. Search for businesses being offered by the owner and step in to help. There's a cool business for people who want to build a business by deploying their cash. It's making private money loans, also known as hard money. Of course, this business requires that you have money, but the cool part is that it's a business that doesn't take a ton of time. You take your cash that you may have parked in low interest accounts and you deploy it as a first or second trustee on real estate at high interest rates. You can do this directly, or you can fund the loans through a broker who puts the deals together. The cool part is that you don't even have to pay the broker. You just let the borrower pay the broker's fees, and you get as much as 18% interest on your money. This sounds simple, but you would be amazed at how many people don't get it. If you want to be dazzled by one of the shortest books you'll ever read, check out The Richest Man in Babylon, which talks about how to become a lender rather than a borrower. Making money on your money can be done with many types of lending, but the most secure is done by taking a trust deed on someone's real estate and filing the right security documents so that you can foreclose if they don't pay. The potential income is unlimited, but imagine deploying $100,000 at an average of just 12%, and you'll be making $1,000 a month on your money. And you can use that money to fund even more loans to keep your portfolio growing. What can you do to get this going? Well, if you have cash to lend, put it to work. Find some hard money brokers who are putting deals together and talk to their other money sources so that you can develop trust. Then network to find borrowers of your own. Be sure that you use an attorney or a broker to properly protect yourself. Many people don't realize that there are opportunities to make money managing real estate with or without a real estate license. If you have a real estate license, you can find property owners who manage their own rentals and offer to take them over, maybe even at a discount to the larger companies. But even if you aren't licensed, there's an opportunity to help owners on vacation rental properties that they're renting through Airbnb or Vrbo. Typically, short-term rentals are not a licensed activity. Also, if you manage property as a live-in manager, you might be able to do this for discounted rent and a paycheck, even if you aren't licensed. You can charge from 4% to 10% for long-term rental management, and you can charge 10% to 30% for short-term rental management. It's not hard to add a few $100s a month to your income, or build a property management business that makes you thousands of dollars a month. A way to get going now is to look into licensing if you want to do long-term management. Also, look for rentals within a few miles of your surrounding home. Look for rent by owner signs. That's a great opportunity to offer your services for long-term rentals. Listings on Airbnb and Vrbo are an opportunity for short-term management. Hit up the owners of short-term properties and offer to help them facilitate the rentals and save them the headache. Another idea that you can easily implement on the side is to do referrals for others in your industry. What this really means is that you charge a fee when you refer someone to a business. For example, if you know someone who is a consultant, set up an agreement to get paid a commission when you refer them business. Here's how it's done. You want to look for formal opportunities in your profession to make money on referrals. If you're already in a profession, you can start asking colleagues about what kind of structure that you can create that's mutually beneficial. Do you know someone who does wedding photography or runs a catering business, for example? They can pay you a fee when you send them a client. Look around to the people in your personal network for business owners who might be happy to pay if you send them business. Then find some customers for them. In the example of the wedding photographer, once you know you'll get paid for a customer, you might exhibit at a bridal bazaar and find ways to get customers for your wedding photographer. They're happy to pay you to get a customer. It saves them a ton of work. And you get paid without having to go out and do the photography. Now, the potential income, you can easily make $500 to $5,000 a month depending on how hard you want to work. What can you do to take action? Start doing research about industries that pay referral fees or commissions to people that refer clients. And ask around with your circle of friends and colleagues. See if you can identify a few businesses that you can send people to. Finally, develop some ways to find potential customers for them. A business that not many people know about is called factoring. It's sort of like loaning money, but instead of making a loan, you actually buy someone's receivables at a discount. Here's how this works. You typically find a business that has stable income, but who needs to get cash flow sooner than their customers can pay. A housekeeping service might bill their commercial accounts every month, and those commercial accounts might be very consistent, but pay 30 to 45 days out. You'd pay the cleaning company 60 to 70% of the amount due and buy the open accounts receivable. You typically charge a base fee of 1 to 3% for the 30-day period and a fixed fee per invoice that you buy. The account then pays you directly. You collect the funds and then you pay the cleaning company the remainder after taking out your fees. The fees can add up to a very nice return on your cash, with as much as a 50% annual return. Join the factoring industry and learn the tricks of the trade. Network in your business community to find customers that need cash flow and look for stable accounts receivable that you're confident will be paid. Find industry contacts that you can use to protect yourself with best practices and good legal support.